Over the past 20 years, I've had many treatments, medication, talk therapy. I've had several rounds of ECT, and I've had 20 rounds of TMS and 3 hospitalizations. I think that I started getting help right after I had my daughter, and I was having trouble just finding joy, you know, little bits of joy. And so I decided, I was still working full time, so I decided to start talk therapy and see where that would get me. And I did that for about 6 months. And then I stopped. And then I started again when I was about 27 years old. So talk therapy is really the first therapy treatment that I tried. My first experience with talk therapy was horrible. We came from different backgrounds culturally, and we sort of clashed. I've had several therapists since then, 3 great ones. One retired, so that's why I stopped seeing her, and then I relocated, and so that's why I stopped seeing that therapist. The therapist that I'm with now is awesome because she relates to my background, she relates to my culture, and we have similar backgrounds, so that helps. She's aware. Medications. There's a whole long list. I have been on a lot. I want to say at least 25 to 30 medications. If they make it, I've been on it. Some for bipolar initially because of misdiagnosis. And now, recently in the past 10 to 12 years, it's because I have treatment-resistant depression, and it's hard to find a medication that works. So every 6 months, maybe sometimes it's 6 to 8 weeks, either being the dosages being raised higher, or we're changing the medication. And that's been, like I said, for 10 to 15 years.
I remember about the ECT treatment. The ECT, I remember describing it step by step, and it just, I remember my reaction. Internally, I was cringing, but I was verbalizing hope to her, because even though she's tried different medications, this was something totally different. It just seemed antiquated to me. And again, like Greg, I didn't know a lot, but I'd heard of some things. And then to hear her go through the details of it and seeing her after, I didn't see the improvement that I was expecting. And so there was no way I could be a champion for ECT for her.
The ECT, I think that she's the same as Greg. It's scary. I don't know what this is, and I don't think that that's the best move for you. And TMS, I don't think we discussed it as much.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't tell anybody really about TMS because I knew that they would freak out, and so I didn't share that part. But and medication wise, we always discuss medications. We always do, and we always discuss side effects and how long. Whenever there's a change, I share that with her. So, now and for the past 10 years or so, I've been pretty honest with her. I think that one of the worst parts of this journey is the financial part. I have a state-funded health plan that does not cover anything on the side. So there have been times where I have not been able to afford my medication. I have not been able to afford to go to therapy. I haven't had, money for gas to get somewhere. It's very real. The financial strain is very, very, very real. And I can say that it needs to change. It needs to be better. But I can definitely tell you that that is a huge, huge downfall of living with this illness.
I feel like if you have a comforting friend, a great support group, then you can work through a lot of things. And because this is hard to treat depression, I knew she was going to have a long journey, you know. So whatever role I needed to play, I was willing to play it. If somebody else knows the symptoms that you're experiencing as a result of a medication or treatment change, somebody else can kind of keep an eye on that too, because if it goes wrong, then you need somebody to say, hey, wait a minute, maybe you shouldn't do that, or maybe we should try something else. You should talk to your doctor about something else. But I'm definitely worried sometimes, because all of the treatment over the course of 20 years has taken such a toll on her mentally and physically. And yet somehow she's still able to be a champion for others and be helpful to others. And she's always saying, well, I have to do this and I have to do that. And it's always for somebody else. And because this is a long, hard journey, I don't want her to stop doing things for herself. And so if that's the role I play too, to push for her to be her own advocate and make sure she takes time for herself and does good things for herself and realizes the good things that are still going on in her life, then I will be there until.
The number one gauge that I'm able to tell where Donna's at, how she's feeling, is the contact.
Oh, yeah.
If I don't hear from her for sometimes days at a time, then I know something's wrong. And then sometimes it's hard for me to reach out to her and her respond. So, you're gauging it. Number one, where she's at, where the medication has her. And so it's so many different things. We have to go that extra mile and getting a better understanding of what the person's dealing with. And again, if you're close to them, if you want to embrace them and what they have and help, you have to. And sometimes it takes us putting down what we're dealing with, getting rid of old mindsets, because initially it's just get a hold of yourself and you'll be okay, and I know that's how I dealt with it, and I think societally a lot of people still deal with things that way, with people that's going through depression that way. If you take them out of your circumstances, maybe it'll change. Not even having a semblance of understanding of what's really going on and what type of help they really need. So I think it's taking the time to get a better understanding how to help, being compassionate, showing them love, because a lot of this might be resulting from the love we didn't show in the first place.
I share several things with people when they ask me how to go about getting a team to support them. And so when it comes to a psychiatrist, you want to have a psychiatrist that you're comfortable with, and you want to have a psychiatrist that will explain the treatments to you. Every time they give you a medication, they explain the medication to you and explain the possible side effects. Because without that, you're lost, because not everybody is going to research their medication. They're just going to take it because they trust the doctor. As far as a therapist is concerned, this is huge, because having a bad therapist can take you back 10 steps. So you want to research your therapist. You want to make sure that they have a good review or a good following. And then within your first 2 to 3 meetings, if it's the right fit. And so if you don't feel right, find somebody else. And I think that that's something that we forget, is that we can change therapists. People think that it's like a marriage. Once you get in, you can't get out. Find somebody that understands your background. Even if they're not from the same background or culture as you, they have an awareness of what you're going through. Family, find someone that is going to love you in spite of. I have had several family members stop speaking to me because I didn't reach out or because I didn't function the way they wanted me to. That's not right. So make sure that your family understands what you're going through and that they're still willing to love you in spite of. And the same thing goes for friends. You want to have friends, because I've lost friends too. You want to have friends that understand the same thing, that love me in spite of, reach out to me in spite of. Don't take it personally when I'm not, there. Just to be there.